you dress for whatever event you're going to, for whatever situation presents itself. So you dress how you want to be addressed. And I talked, when I talk to like our young brothers and everything, I tell them, man, I still got my fitteds, I still rock the Yeezys, I still, what I'm saying, got my jogging pants, my Timbs, and all of that. But when I step in certain arenas, I got to be ready to move in those arenas. So that's where, your wardrobe has to adapt.
We are live and popping. What's up? What's up? What's up?
What's up, fellas?
Welcome to another edition of A Father's Heart with Sean and Cole and George. What's good?
What's happening? Good, everybody.
Hey, man, listen. I'm just glad to have.
We got a special guest in the middle.
We do, but the special guest is my voice. Y'all don't even remember my voice was out last week. Come on, Cole.
100% remember that situation.
Did you drink some tea? Would you have some tea and honey?
I was on tea. I was on a little echinacea. I was on like a little ginger. I was on the little bless oil, not bless oil, little bless oil. And it worked.
Yes, sir.
Welcome back.
Well, welcome. Would you say welcome back?
Welcome back.
You tell? Hey, are you telling my voice welcome back?
Yes, I was directly talking to your voice. That's
not to me, to my voice, though, right?
Not to you at all. You was present. Your body was here, but your voice was on the other side of town. So welcome.
I love it, man. Yo, man. So Cole, you in the country? Oh, you adjusting your camera? You know what I mean? You look good. You look good, baby.
Bro.
Ken make me nervous.
Oh, why?
Because if you're not in the center, Ken coming for you, so you got to make sure you get all your stuff
He
together.
will. He'll text you on the side and be like, "Yo, I need you to get it together, like for real." Ken is that old school parent would take the spit off the thumb and like put it like get the crust off. Like that's who Ken is. He's like that old school. Boy,
shout out to Ken, super producer.
Yeah, stupid. See, where's my? Say it again, George, because I'm gonna start.
Shout out to Ken, super producer.
You starting off with horns, George. All right, George, let's get it going, man. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, we are excited, right? We excited, man. We got a really good friend of the squad, man. Everybody know this dude. If you don't, you need to go to his Facebook, his Instagram. He's on everything, man. Mr. WalkWorthy, man. This gentleman is powerful. You're gonna hear a story. Right. But one of the things, man, it's like, I know I used to look at those dudes who they used to have those flash mobs, right, with the suits and all that. And this brother, he has been a part of many of them. If you see this brother, man, you never see him like enough to bum me. Like, it ain't no like, I'm going to run out to the store real quick, you know what I mean, and get something. You know what I mean? Every time I see this brother, man, he's sugar sharp. Not sharp. Sugar sharp.
Every single time?
Every single time. Sugar sharp.
I mean, look at my man hat.
Listen, look at the mannequin's hat.
Yeah.
Look at the mannequin in the back hat.
This right here is what I'm talking about. I'm headed that way, but I ain't there quite yet. I got a couple of streaks and stuff like that, but I need that wisdom. That's where I'm going for. We appreciate you being here tonight, brother.
Thank you, man.
So
Thank you, fellas. Thank you, brothers. Man. I appreciate you guys having me, man. I appreciate y'all making me laugh too, man. Y'all crazy, man. Y'all bananas, bro. I love it, though. I love it.
Yo, we wouldn't be able to do this, man. Like, sometimes, man, people could be, like, way too serious, man. I'm like, yo, I'm not, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. We're going to get on here and just have a conversation laugh, mess up, blooper. Hey, we'll be right back. Let's reboot this boy. Like, yo, we not tripping. We, we hood. We a hood production. We gonna get better, but right now we hood production. You know what I mean?
That's fine. We real. That's what we are.
You see Sean Chain? You see Sean Chain?
Whoa!
Welcome to Death Row. If you want to look at all them other podcasts and all that other stuff, but if you want a real podcast, come on over to Fatherhood.
Did you just do that, George?
We started it, right?
Yo, you know what? Let's get into the episode, man. The people want to hear from Mr. WalkWorthy. Mr. WalkWorthy, man, thank you again for coming on tonight, man. Listen, introduce yourself to the people. Let the people know, who you are, man, real quick, man. And we're about to just start throwing it at you, brother.
Man, that's what's up, man. Once again, man, Sean, George, Cole, Father's Heart Podcast, thank you so much for having me on the show. It is truly a blessing. For those who don't know me, my government name is Aondray Worthy. I go under the alias of Mr. WalkWorthy. Born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Grew up in the streets of Sag Nasty. Been in Lansing over 20-some years. Yeah, man, I'm a father, husband, entrepreneur, encourager, motivator, overcomer. I'm just living, man. I'm just out here trying to live, man.
I love it. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I stepped away when I was in the back, and and Nicole told me when I stepped away, y'all had already started going in, so I wasn't privy to whatever you guys was talking about, man. So, man, what were you guys in the back talking about that we missed, that I missed?
We were talking about, what were we talking about? So our guest is a haberdasher, correct? So Cole was asking, you actually started
with your fitness goal.
With your water. You went to go with your water, and you said you was making reference. You like, George used to be a dresser as far as like, business casual stuff like that. And I started talking about our graduation. The graduation that we held for the fathers this last week, and we was talking about. I was talking about how I got some texts of people telling me that a suit that I had previously got tailored was too big, and I had just got it tailored. So it led to our fitness journey, which Cole asked me. Did I have a specific weight or goal or anything in mind? And my answer was simply this: I didn't. The reason I started my fitness journey is because I didn't like what I saw in the mirror. Right? I didn't like what I saw in the mirror, and my goal was to be able to like what I saw in the mirror. And so at the time, and actually I'm coming up on like my 1-year anniversary of my fitness journey. Shout out to Ed Wilson, Tony Wilson, I Am Billboard. But at the time, I was trying to cover up my internal stuff that was going on with clothing. Like I'd buy clothes, different brands and different things like that. And it's like, no matter what I bought or how much I bought, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I didn't like the reflection, right? Wow. I didn't like the reflection. And so it kind of led to what we're going to be talking about tonight with our special guest. But I just want to say this. You can go and buy a brand new car fully loaded off the lot, right? And if you don't do that internal maintenance, that pretty, beautiful, sparkling vehicle is going to be super, super, super nice on the outside. But internally, it's going to be some stuff going on.
Wow. Yeah. George, I see why y'all tapped into that.
Yeah. So I'm gonna stop there, and we're gonna go from here. We're gonna go from there.
Because my first question to you, Mr. WalkWorthy, is can you just kind of walk us through how did you even land in the space where you're talking about suits and fashion and tailored suits at that? Could you just kind of take how did you get it to that, and how did you land in the space where you are right now? Just sharing a little.
Man, I mean, great question, Cole. Man, I'll be honest with you, man. It was nothing but God, bro. I have tried a number of different things throughout my life, corporate America to street pharmacist to it all, man, and nothing really worked for me. You know what I mean? And it took my pastor's son to kind of bring to my attention Like, hey man, every Sunday I see you come to church, man, and I notice, man, you good at putting together certain color combinations and putting together certain outfits and everything. Have you ever thought about selling clothing? And
Mm.
one thing when I decided, you know what I'm saying, this path of faith, this faith walk was, I always felt that whenever I was living for the Lord, there was nothing that I couldn't do. I didn't care what it was, you know what I mean? If it was selling insurance, if it was whatever the case. So he suggested it. I went out there on Google. I was able to find me a company that pretty much drop shipped. So I didn't have to worry about warehousing and having inventory. And they had a pre template website where I just had to pay a monthly fee. They had already had it built, they stacked it with the items. My job was basically to take all of that sales experience I got growing up and now start selling up out of a catalog, man. And I started selling suits straight up out of book. You couldn't touch them. I didn't know necessarily if they were always going to fit you. You know, I had to get comfortable taking measurements and all of these different things. And for whatever it was worth, people decided they wanted to obviously support me, but it
Mm.
wasn't enough to take care of a family. It wasn't enough to let go of the traditional 9 to 5. At times, I would probably only get one sale every 3, 4 months. You know, so that ain't really much of a business. That's more or less just a hustle. You just trying to make some ends meet. But every time I tried to put it down, Cole, somebody would always reach out to me and be like, "Hey, bro, like I need a new black suit or I need a new top coat." And
Yeah.
I needed money, so I'm like, "Hey, I still got my connection. Let me see what I can do." And it wasn't until, man, my wife pointed something out to me, and she said, "Baby, you got to commit to one thing and you got to stick to it."
Mm.
And when she said that, it was like, you know what? It's time to go all in there.
She unlocked it.
And from there, huh?
She unlocked it.
What
Sound like she unlocked
she
it.
Yeah, she unlocked it, man. And shout out to my wife, man. She has been so supportive of me during this journey and everything, man. So to answer your question, man, that's kind of how I got started. I was already in the church, man. So one of my gifts is encouragement. So I would
Mm.
just start using my social media platforms just to send an encouraging word. And then I got to the point where I would start putting together suits and then put a little, or some shoes and put, the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, as an advertisement. And it caught on, you know what I mean, more and more. And finally, I got to the point where I was like, you know what, man, I'm out here selling everybody else's brand. It's
Yeah.
time for
Mm.
me to learn how to create my own brand. And that's when I remembered the words that God had gave me, during my conversion, man. I said I had an encounter, man. I was incarcerated and I had it, man. But the word that he gave me was WalkWorthy, and it
Mm.
was it was a liberation word. It was a word that basically said that now, what I'm saying, you are free, and now you can walk in whatever it is that you decide to do. So then I was able to find a scripture that was able to become our foundation, which was Colossians 1:10, which we have in all of our suit labels inside of our suits and everything. And I began to recognize that, man, God was really using clothing as a form of ministry. And really, it wasn't really about the clothes. It was just the tool that he was using to get the message out. And more, man, I just began to just understand the difference between ownership and stewardship. And I
So
Mm.
realized that he was giving me something to be a steward over versus being an owner over. And what I mean by that is when we give him ownership, he knows what bills need to be paid. He knows what things need to be taken care of. When we take ownership, it's up to us to make it happen. So I recognized that I had to be a steward. I had to make sure that, my craft was polished, you know what I mean, and be able to represent. So I hope
so
that
so,
answered your question, Cole.
so let me.
Yeah.
I want to go deeper because George said
Mm-hmm.
something, and you're talking about walking worthy, right? So George talked about
Mm-hmm.
his journey of getting fit, and
Mm-hmm.
I know, especially as black people, man, as black men, man, we like to dress, boy. You
Yes,
know what I
Yeah.
mean?
sir.
We like to dress, and so
Mm-hmm.
so from George's standpoint of how he's like, man, I didn't like what I was seeing in the mirror. To like, okay, I had to take control of me and my fitness and my health. You tailor make a lot of suits for individuals.
Yeah.
How can you correlate? Like, what are you seeing with some people, you know, with tailoring? Like, what's that connection? Like, what is that connection between you tailoring a man's suit and a man tailoring his life to reflect the father he needs to be for his children and the husband he needs to be? So do you see what you're doing is connecting those dots? I'm just asking you that question. You know,
Sean, man, without a shadow of a doubt, when I began to really research this clothing thing, and I'm, you know, and I can't help but be truthful and share, you know, clothing, if we really understand it, really is an attempt to cover up. And George, you hit the nail on the head when we first started. Even when you go back into the book of Genesis, and it talked about the minute Adam and Eve fell from grace, they immediately went and hid themselves, and they made the first pair of Fruit of the Looms. Okay, you know what I mean? Like they tried to cover themselves, right? But then here's the difference in that. They recognized that they were naked. They recognized that they were exposed, and they tried to cover up, which in all actuality they couldn't, because we know God sees all things. But the part that blew me away is after God had kicked them out of the garden, or walked them to that that gate, the exit. The Bible says that He took an animal and He took the skin and He covered them. So in other words, there's two different types of covering here. We have, in a sense, what the fashion industry, which is predominantly a prideful industry, which is all about look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. You know what I mean? But then you got that other covering where God can, beautify the meek with salvation and, you know what I mean? Like His favor and all of this stuff. So when you talk about, when I sit down with my brothers, that's the beauty of it, because a lot of them say, Worthy, I came to get suited, and I found myself getting clothed with so much more. I mean, we get to talking, because we do a number of weddings, so we get to talking about marriage. We got brothers that, that's going to apply for jobs, or you got brothers that's getting ready to go to funerals. So it's always an opportunity to minister to the inner man. And then if you can get the person like, George was talking about, to focus on the inner man, then everything else you do after that, that's the sauce. That's the completion. That's the balance. That's where it's all at right there. So the society got it all mixed up. You know what I mean? So Sean, be a dope father, be a dope husband, and look good while you're doing it. You know what I mean? But don't have it twisted, where you're sitting out here and you wearing all of these designers, but you can't speak to me, or you got a frown on your face, or you don't know how to say thank you or hold the door for somebody. That ain't where it's hitting at. You know what I mean? What they say, you can put a lipstick on a pig, but it's still a pig at the end of the day. So clothing doesn't make the man makes the clothing.
Come on, man. Come on.
Fire.
Come on, brother.
Yeah.
So you have your own brand. I see, you in the store. I see suits in the background. So this is your store? This is your brand, the whole nine?
So it's not our total brand. So again, when the pandemic was going on, man, I said most people were calling it the pandemic. I'm calling it the plandemic. I knew that when this thing lifted, I wanted to be a lot further than where I was. So I said, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on opening up me a location. We didn't have everything in a row. Everything wasn't perfect, but I knew I had to step out on faith. And for whatever it was, I said, you know what? As I open this, I know it's going to be a process. I know. So we have our own custom brand where our clients can come in, get fitted, choose the fabrics, choose the buttons, choose the linings. We take the measurements. I got a computer software where we sit down, we go through each piece of the suit. We can change the lapel. We can do 3 buttons, trim the stitching, all of that. But not
I just need
everybody
location.
out here. We're the Lansing Mall, baby.
Yes,
5330
sir.
West Saginaw Highway, man. West Saginaw Highway, Lansing Mall. But at the same point in time, a lot of people can't necessarily wear custom. So those are the people that shop off the rack, your 42s, your 44s, your 46s. So the relationships that I built prior to kicking our brand off of, I now carry them. But here's the kicker. I'm in a city where you can't really overly saturate your store with the same items. Because if you do that, then you run a risk of everybody walking around with the same things. So how I move is very exclusive. I know number one, men always need a new white dress shirt. You always gonna need some black slacks, some gray slacks. Accessories is definitely where we are. So bow ties, neckties, cufflinks, pocket squares, anything you need to just freshen up an existing wardrobe, you can come in here. And then those items that you want to get, then we can always order out and we can bring them in, and you know what I mean? And you don't got to worry about everybody having it and everybody walking around with it. So that was the type of approach that I said what I was going to do when I opened this store. So we have a little bit, we got Stephen Land, we got, you know what I mean, whatever the case may be. But at the same token, our overall vision is to replace everything in here with WalkWorthy.
Man, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I got to give a shout out to one of my boys, man. If he's still on here, Wally the Main Event Dixon, man. I grew up with this brother, man. Man, he's an animal. I don't know if you guys remember the and one when the dudes was just killing the game with Duncan and all that stuff. He is actually one of the founders of it, and he was just on here, man. Grew up with this dude, man. Beautiful person. So shout outs to Wally, man. Thanks for being on here, man. Like, yo, much respect to you, bro. I followed you, talked about you often, man. So salute to you, bro. Thanks for hopping on here, man, for real. So I had to give a shout out to him, man. Dope dude, man. And you know what? We're going to have you on here, man. I would love to have you on here, man, for real. So
Mr.
yeah, man.
Mr. WalkWorthy, I got another question for you. Can you speak to the tagline or your mission statement where you talk about dress? Was it dress how you want to be addressed? Can you speak to that? That's pretty powerful.
Yeah, man. Well, that's really the case. You dress for whatever event you're going to, for whatever situation presents itself. So you dress how you want to be addressed. And I talked, when I talk to like our young brothers and everything, I tell them, man, I still got my fitteds. I still rock the Yeezys. I still, got my jogging pants, my Timbs, and all of that. But when I step in certain arenas, I got to be ready to move in those arenas. So that's where, your wardrobe has to adapt. So the same way that you got your tennis shoe game on point, make sure you got some decent dress shoes up in the closet. Make sure you got a nice sports jacket, a pair of slacks, a decent, dress shirt and necktie, because there's going to present situations where, again, that what you're wearing may not necessarily be suffice. So definitely, man, dress how you want to be addressed, man. And that's what I believe it, and I live it. I live by it.
It's so important that men know that they need to be able to navigate amongst various different environments, because life brings various different, situations and circumstances, and you want to be able to go in there and handle whatever business may bring itself to you. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Like, that's the way, you know what I'm saying, the way it go. And people are, before you say a word come out of your mouth, people are sizing up what you look like. Like, that's just, I mean, that's the way it go. You know what I'm saying? And we can say, you know what I'm saying, take me as I am. You can say you can't judge a book by its cover, and all those things have some validity to them. But at the end of the day, when you walk through a door, especially if you're going to, and you want to like voice something, you want to say something, before a word come out of your mouth, they want to know what you're doing. And that's between cultures. You know what I'm saying? That ain't just us. Like, that's between cultures. Like, it's a thing. And so you got to know that. You know what I'm saying? It's a part of manhood, in my most humble opinion. It's a part of manhood.
Absolutely. I agree. I really do, George.
And I look at this whole this clothing thing. I tell you the truth, man. When I do dress, right, and I don't dress up a whole lot, but when I dress, it does something to me, right? Like, it makes me move different, give me a little bit more confidence, right? When I look in the mirror, And so, man, I can't, resist to go back to what you and George is talking about. Like the inner man, right? Like, how George is talking about what he looked like, and you talk about that inner man. But it's just funny, man, when I dress up, like I feel good on the outside, but it does something to me internally, right? It's just like, yo, like, you know what? Like, it just makes me walk different, right? It makes me walk different, not really talk different, but it makes me walk different. Like, I feel good about myself in that moment. And I think, with this whole thing, like, especially like you being, in this industry, man, I think it is a direct reflection on like when a suit gets dirty, you put it in the cleaners, right? You don't put it in the wash machine. A really good suit.
No, sir.
You know what I mean? Like, I knew people back in the day that put that sucker in the wash machine. It's like, yo, you don't put a good suit in the wash machine.
It's never the same.
It's never the same, right? It's never the same. And I think like as men, I think we need to know our value, that we should not put ourselves in a wash machine. Right? We shouldn't be connected just with anybody. We shouldn't just be doing anything, anytime, anywhere. We need to be able to walk worthy, right? Know exactly who we are and whose we are. And, I don't care what your religious background is. You guys know how I get down. But, whatever your faith is, whatever your path is, that we need to know that we are worthy, and we just can't get connected with anybody. Right? We just can't, link up with anybody. I'm teaching my son now at a young age. The more he become aware of this whole sexual thing and all this stuff, I'm teaching. My daughters asked me a few weeks ago, they'll say, are you going to have the same conversation with Levi that he shouldn't have sex and da-da-da-da? I'm like, yo, there's no different. Like, yo, his body... his body is a masterpiece. Bro, you just don't, you just don't lay down with anybody. What you have, like, yo, it's sacred, bruh. Yo, you just don't let any Sally or, with Samantha, I don't want to throw somebody's name out there. They'd be like, oh, you talking about, but I'm just saying, it's important, man, that we as men understand what we possess and start really walking in that. Right. And like you said, the clothes don't make the man make the clothes. So we need to work on that internal. Right. So when we walk around with a dope hat like you got on, you know what I mean? That we could, I had to get confident. I still need to work on wearing hats and feel confident. I feel kind of silly wearing a hat like that. You know what I mean?
Okay. I don't know what, son. You're making it look good, bro.
I just got to build my confidence. I'm just saying, I'm being honest, right? I'm still working on me as much as I want to be in the front. There's certain things that make me feel uncomfortable, like this chain. George called me out on it. Like, yo, that's something I would have never done. My wife picked it out.
That was why, because you were stepping out there. So like you were it is out your comfort zone, but also a part of manhood. Listen, nobody who ever did anything worth anything, and the brother, you talked about it, Brother Worthy, when you said what your wife said. Nobody who ever did anything worthwhile did it without risk, without stepping out of their comfort. Like comfortability is in my opinion, the enemy of growth.
Come on, bro.
Yeah, it is.
I believe that. You know what I'm saying? You get stuck. You get routine. You stay in the same place because it's familiar, because it's comfortable. You know what I'm saying?
I missed it.
And you can't, you know what I'm saying? And it's funny, Sean, because you taught me that many, many years ago, and you used to call it stepping over the chicken line. I'm a very conservative person. Like it's almost like risk management. I'm gonna do probabilities. I'm gonna do pros and cons, and I'm not gonna say now, but it was a time where it was always in the safe space, and I always remained in that little safe area, and there was no growth there. There was no growth there because I was not willing to challenge myself. I was not willing to challenge anything outside of what I knew to be my normal, but my normal was not bringing me the results that I needed.
Come on, man.
They was not bringing me not only were they not bringing me the results that I needed, they were not bringing me the results that I wanted. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like the gerbil or the hamster on the wheel. You moving. You know what I'm saying? You moving.
Ain't going nowhere.
You're not going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? You got to take some risks. So that was my way of saying I'm proud of you. That was not, I did it in a rib, but that was my way of saying this is what we do. This is
That's
as
right.
men. As men, this
That's
is
right.
what we do. We take a step, we take a chance, we take risks, and a lot of times it needs to be on yourself.
Come on, man.
Oh, all day long.
Since we here, let me say this: the people, because a lot of times we talk ourselves out of stuff because we worried about how people gonna respond, or if people gonna understand, or if they gonna agree, or if they gonna go along with it. Let me tell you something from a person, like I'm a professional risk taker now. The people that's supposed to be around are gonna be around, and the ones
That's
that are
right.
not, they gonna go where they gonna go. And this don't mean it has to be a fallout. It don't have to be a beef. It don't have to be a riff. It don't have to be nothing. It's like I'm over here, you over there, and this is what we're doing. I got some things that I need to do, and I got some things that I want to do. And I want to go back to
That's
one
right.
more thing. I feel like I'm rambling, but I got to say to Sean, because you was talking earlier about how sometimes when you just put it on, you just feel better. So y'all see, I'm in the office. I just got back into my office for the first time since the pandemic at the top of the year. And the pandemic, I got a home office, so I'm at the home office, and my wife and my kid, they make fun of me, bro, because I'm telling you, like I might wake up, not even brush my teeth good, throw on a sweatshirt and get busy and get to work, stuff like that. So I'm saying that's I got real lax, I got real chill, you know what I'm saying. But since I've been back in here, I try to make it a point at least twice a week to put some clothes on. And when I say put some
That's right.
clothes on, throw a tie on, and you know what I'm saying,
Yep.
a shirt, you know what I'm saying, a jacket, a sweater, or something. And I do that purposely for the same thing you said. It makes me feel better. Or if I wake up on the wrong side of a bed, I'm automatically going to get one of the dress shirts and the ties and stuff like that because I got to get my day going. It do something internally. I'm a licensed therapist, and I'm not exactly sure what yet, but I know for me, from personal experience, I feel better, or it gives me an extra it gives me an extra push when I put some clothes on. And y'all know
That's
what I'm
right.
saying when you put some clothes on. I think every man
That's good.
should have that option, even if because you know what I'm saying, I'm an entrepreneur, small business. I can do what I want. You know what I'm saying? So it's something that I do intentionally, you know what I'm saying, to give myself that extra boost.
I love
So
it.
yeah,
That's
I
good.
know exactly what you're saying when you say you just feel a little bit better. I make it a point twice a week. I'm here 6 days a week, but I make it a point at least let me say that at least twice a week to put some clothes on.
I
Yes,
love
sir.
that.
That's good, bro. That's good. Yeah, it's
Mr.
definitely does something for your mentality.
Mr. Walkworthy, I have another question. Is there a specific reason why you chose the mall versus any other location in Lansing?
Man, man, again, Cole, bro. God, man, I'm out here in the marketplace, baby. I'm out here in the marketplace, man. This, like I tell you, man, this for me, man, this is ministry out here, man. And a lot of my brothers, man, that walk through these malls, they going into Jimmy Jazz or they going in the Finish Line and they getting their J's and they getting their Adidas and all of this. And then they get a chance to walk past our store and they see the suits in the windows and they see the brothers that congregate up in here. And they see the sign above it, man. It says Walk Worthy. And all of that, I know it ministers and it speaks, man. But the confirmation came after we did a fashion show here back in April out here at the mall. And shout out to Trey Ken and man, my man Walter Dodd and Dara Mayho and all of them. We drew over about 500 some odd people out to the mall, man. And I had about 20 guys rocking the WalkWorthy custom suits. They had the hats on, the shades on, the shoes. They were walking the dogs, man. I'm like, man, where y'all get the dogs on the runway, man? It was just on a whole nother level. And the mall was like, look, man, this ain't like the days of old when we used to come out here and chase girls and, hang out in the malls and stuff. It's dry out here now. And they were like, we need a business like yours. If you got this type of following and people that's kind of gravitating towards you, we need you. So they gave me the prime real estate. I'm right by the front door, man. As soon as you walk in, man, you know what I mean? I get a chance to greet the people, you know what I mean? Good morning and all of this good, wonderful stuff, man. And they can walk in and, and see the products. So I'm just in the marketplace, man. You know what I mean? I'm going to see how long we'll be here. It always comes when the leases, about up and it's time to renegotiate. You start really seeing, how they're going to treat you and they start trying to count your money for you. But
Yeah.
if we do decide to move, our next move is going to be to buy us some real estate, man. We're going to buy our own building and you
Yo,
know what I mean, open up
I
our
love
own
it.
spot, man.
And
Yeah, yeah.
one of the main reasons why I asked you that question and you answered it just
Hmm.
as I thought you would is because I work with so many young people and I'm a product of these young people that I serve too. Where I live with a mom who didn't have a permanent man in our house, and so when I would go in
Yeah.
my mother's closet, I wouldn't see men's clothes. And when I did see men clothes, I often saw men outside of my mother's home, and they moved around in the street space. And so I
Hmm.
think one
Hmm.
I instantly discovered is that most of the men that I saw in the street space were the by your story. Your story is a unique space because I might not have never seen what a man looks like in a suit, but I have seen what men look like when they wear other uniforms. And so much of my work right now is serving young men who find themselves involved in the juvenile justice system and the criminal justice system,
Yeah.
where they tend to wear a suit that isn't tailored, that has a number attached to it. And so I think that it's really powerful that you're centrally located in a space where young men congregate to tell the
Absolutely.
community how they look and tell the community who they are and tell the community by what I wear is my value, that they get an opportunity to see a man and an organization and a ministry where they can see people getting tailored suits or know that the door is open for a tailored suit when oftentimes they go into closets in their own home and there's no suits there. So you are in the right space doing the right work. And I knew you would answer
Thank
the
you.
question the right way because you just said
And
so
you know what's so
eloquently
crazy
as
about
men.
it though, Cole? And I ain't trying to cut you. You know what's so crazy about it
No,
though?
no, you good.
I wore that prison suit. Like that was me. So I tell
Yeah.
these young people a lot of times, don't be fooled by the suit. Like I was once there. So I always say, well, you can't have relationship unless you able to relate. So I'm able to
Yeah.
relate to them young men to tell you, guess what, man, that was me, man. I know what it was to be in the back of a police car. I know what it was to, you know what I'm saying, have work on me. I know what it was to keep the money in the bottom of my shoe and doing all of this and all that. But that's not me now. So
Whew.
let this give you hope. Let this inspire you. Let this let you know that, again, your story is not over. You know what I mean? That a setback sometimes could be nothing more but a setup. So that's where I'm comfortable at. I'll be honest with you. I can talk to a person that, like, I just met my father. Like, I mean, I didn't even just meet my father. I just found him. Like at 40, I think 40, I was 47, 46. I did ancestry.com, traced my roots. You know what I mean? He died before I even met him, found my sister and all that. But you know, the crazy part about it was I grew up without a father, but I was fathered by something. You know, and I tell people like hip hop was my daddy. It taught me how to rap. It taught me how to talk to the girls. It gave me my swag. It gave me all of that. But to grow up and not have a man show you how to wear a tie, how to, you know what I'm saying, put on a suit. Like, you're right, man. You feel out of place. You feel like you don't belong. You feel it feels foreign. You know what I mean? Only to then experience it and you like, man, I like the way this feels. Like, I need to do this more. Like, I wish somebody would have told me that sooner. So I have the opportunity, man, to do that here. And that's why, like I said, my business, it's more ministry than it is about clothing, man. You get like you can get, like I tell me, you can get the drip, you can get all that you come up in here for, but at the end of the day, you're gonna leave up out of here edified. I'm gonna serve you. I'm like, even to the point where I think about how they talked about how Christ washed the feet. You know what I mean? Like I sit down and help them put the shoes on their feet, and I get like, I'm trying to serve these brothers. Like, don't, no, no, no. Let me put your suit jacket on, you king. Let me show you what you're supposed to get used to this type of treatment. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that
Yeah.
right there is purpose. And
Yeah.
through it all of my needs are being taken care of. You know what I mean? So I'm just grateful. I'm grateful, man. I'm grateful. But I appreciate that, Cole. That's talk. That's real, bro. That's real.
And
Thank you.
Sean,
That's
you
real.
missed it. So get your hand back on the thing because you missed it, brother. Where you said you can't have a relationship if what?
If you're not on, if you can't relate, if you
Sean,
can't,
well,
how you
come
gonna tell me?
if you can't relate, like that's it's the only way.
Real talk. Real talk. I mean, how you gonna tell me what it's like? You know what I'm saying? If you ain't never been through it.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you can, you know what I'm saying, try to, you know, put yourself in my place, you know what I mean? But until you really went through it, you know, I mean, I'm getting ready to speak to these young men over at Turning Point in Lansing Sunday. You know what I mean? And as I was getting ready for it, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, man, I remember when I used to sit up in school, man, and I used to draw Jordans. Couldn't afford them, but I used to draw them. And now these kids are out here tripping on shoes that we remember when the originals dropped. The
Yep.
first ones, the first twos, the first threes, and we couldn't even afford them. And I used to draw them and one day hope that I was going to get a pair. You know what I mean? And but now, like we talked about earlier, these kids get these shoes, they get these fabrics, they get these designers, and they're really trying to substitute their insecurities, man.
Correct.
They're really
Correct.
insecure. You know what I mean? And it breaks my heart when I see that, you know, and nothing wrong to the designer brands. I mean, you know what I'm saying, if they're doing the right thing, but
Right.
you can't wear another man's name on the back of your jersey before you first understand, you know what I'm saying, who you are. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's identity, bro. It's identity, bro. It's identity.
Lighting us up today. You lighting us up. Sean, can't hear you, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can't hear you.
Mm-hmm.
Sean. There you go.
I'm full.
Amen.
I'm full. Man.
Sean don't
What's
realize
going on
we
with
can't hear
Sean?
him. But Sean, give me a nod if it's time for a legit or not legit. Give me a nod, because that. Okay, all right. So I got one. I got a legit or not legit. And Cole, this is to you. Is it legit or not legit that Sean has known about Brother Worthy and known? Found out. Now, I've been Sean's friend for about 15 years. I'm not sure the length of your relationship. Mm-hmm. Is it legit or not legit that he didn't know about this brother and this brand? He can't say nothing. That's what I love most about this opportunity. And me and you just found out about this brother a week ago. Is that legit or not legit? I'm gonna say it's not legit. What you think, Cole?
I'm gonna say it's not legit because I'm still shopping at JCPenney's getting smaller suit jackets.
I'm at K&G. I'm at K&G. You know what I'm saying? Like
thinking I'm getting a tailored jacket.
I'm at Macy's. And this brother, last I
Come on, George, man. You can't see about it, man. Come on, man.
Y'all can't hear me still? I'm still muted.
We can hear you now. Yeah, come defend yourself, because this is not legit, brother. It's not legit at all.
Yo,
listen. Is 35 minutes away. I go up there because they closed out for Zoli's. So every now and then,
I've been knowing Sean. I had the opportunity of being introduced to Sean through mutual friend, Mr. Sheldon Thomas. Man, Sean came, man, and gave a powerful word. I think maybe 2 Sundays, but I know for sure 1 Sunday. That was my first introduction to him, man. And he's been solid ever since.
How long ago, Brother Worthy? How long ago?
Come on, that's not important. That's not important.
That's extremely important. Because I didn't know him for 15. I didn't know him for 15.
I'm going to say close to 10 years. I'm going to say close to 10 years.
You're not helping me. You're not helping me.
John is an avid Michigan State fan and a Michigan State alumni. So me and him have been to Lansing multiple times, is what I'm saying. He never mentioned Sean. He one of them friends that want to keep the good stuff to himself. And I'm having an internal struggle with that right now. So we're gonna talk after the show.
Well, not no more.
Not no more. That's what we gonna do.
Not no more. Mr. WalkWorthy, tell us where. Let the audience know where we can find you.
One more time,
man. For those that's interested in learning more about our brand, you can definitely find us on all social media platforms under Mr. MR_WalkWorthy. Again, you can find us here at the Lansing Mall, 5330 West Saginaw Highway, directly across from T-Mobile main entrance. But yeah, man, you can find me on LinkedIn under Aondray A. Worthy, WORTHY, Facebook, Aondray A. Worthy. But yeah, definitely on social media. You can Google us, Mr. WalkWorthy. It'll pull up, you know what I mean, articles. It'll pull up our website. It'll pull up, just anything you can think of, reviews and all of that.
Yo,
they done messed up now. The beard would have fitted with a tailored suit. It's over.
Hey,
come on, Cole. Let's get it, baby. Let's get it, Cole. Let's get it, man.
It's
Hey,
over.
Cole. Actually, Cole and I and George, we working on a project, a conference here later in the year, and we definitely are gonna have you to play some type of role in it. But even before that, I know Cole
Yep.
has a conference with young boys, and don't you do something with Taylor Suits? You may have
Well,
somebody already, Cole, but I don't
listen.
know if Mr. Walkworthy
Look,
can be part of that
I'm
or whatever the case.
I'm already on it. You was already about to get a call from me because
Oh man.
our conference we got a conference called We Matter Now here in Grand Rapids, and it's
Mm,
actually it's an initiative to serve young men of color involved in our community. And one of the things that this year's conference is going to be on April 22nd is finding your fit, and so this
mm,
fits perfectly into, because the conversation that we're having is really about identity and how so
yeah.
oftentimes not our young men are trying on these different suits, trying to figure out who they are. And
Mm,
sometimes the suit that they wear might get them in places that can be really harmful for them. So we really want to find men who have found their suits, have found their fit, and are willing to kind of walk our young men through the process of how did they get there, and how can they do the same. Because my mission statement is really, how do I become something I don't see? And I think that is what
mm,
is a universal mission, but it's truth for all of us. If I don't see it, how do I know that it's real? So men of color, we have to be the representation of what we want our young men to be and see. And I mean, I think what you just did tonight for me solidified why this work is so important, why you're in
yeah.
Lansing Mall, and why this work that you're doing is not just about suits, but it's a mission. And I think that's pretty
Mm.
brilliant. So you'll be
Thank
hearing
you,
from
bro.
me. Yeah. So
Thanks,
thank
Cole. I
you.
appreciate it, man. I appreciate it, man. And I appreciate you fellas, man, just having me on and sharing, you know what I mean, sharing what it is that we do, man. I really do, man. And they say teamwork makes the dream work, man. And we each find our position, you know what I mean, and focus on, where we operate best. We can make a great impact, you know what I mean, and come together and, I mean, that's the kind of stuff I vibe off. So I love what you brothers are doing, man, and what y'all represent, man. So y'all continue to keep pushing the Father's heart, you know what I mean? And I mean, just getting the word out, man. I really do appreciate you guys.
Yeah, and before we leave, we always ask our guests to, in their own words, to you, what is the Father's heart?
Mm, you know me, man. Um, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. A father's heart, it should be God's heart.
Mm,
It should be the way that He perceives us. You know, that right there has been very influential in terms of me as a father, understanding that the same grace and the same mercy that I need, I got to be able to extend to my son and my daughter as well. And that it's just, it's his heart. It's he's love. You know what I mean? He's patient. He's kind. You know what I mean? He's all of these things. So I think the closer we get to him, the more we can operate from his heart. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm on, man. I'm trying to do it his way. And that's so crazy. And I'm gonna end it with this, man, because I struggled with that, Sean. I really did. I grew up without a father. So when it came to me in terms of my walk and my faith, it was hard for me to believe that there was some heavenly father up there that cared about me when my own natural father didn't.
Mm.
So that was
mm,
very, very hard. But it took me when I began to research that he had a heart for widows and he had a heart for orphans. And he even
mm,
said that he would be a father to the fatherless. So what that then allowed me to do is help me to look beyond my natural father and look to him, my heavenly father, and understand that he will never leave me. He will never forsake me. He'll never give up on me. So it helped me to loosen or open up more to receive because I was so callous and so hard, man, and I was so angry, you know. So now as a father, man, I realize that I can't do it without him. And if I
mm.
do it on my own, then I'm gonna run a risk of messing some things up. So I have to lean on him. And he hasn't failed me yet. I haven't, I'm not perfect. No, I don't know what father is. But one thing that my kids can say is that if dad does get it wrong, he's humble enough to come and ask for forgiveness. He hugs me. He's affectionate. He tells me how much he loves me. He, all of these things that we as a father in our role is so powerful. So a lot of the things that our young people are dealing with is because of them not experiencing a true father's heart.
Come on, man.
Because if you know what I mean? Like real talk, man. So that's why our young men are so angry, and that's why they're so, withdrawn and all of that, man. They really just need someone to really be genuine and someone that really cares. A lot of them just need a hug, bro. You'll break so many of them if you can just get your arms around them. They just want to cry, man. They just want to open up because they're mad. But again, to answer your question, a father's heart is God's heart, man. It ain't ours. We can't do it in our own right.
Wow.
Mr. WalkWorthy, we appreciate you, brother. We appreciate
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
It's been super dope. It's been super dope. You were so good. George took his glasses off.
George, what's up, man? That's my guy, man. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate
you. I'm so glad that fate brought us together as opposed to Sean 10 years ago when we met you. But I'm glad I know you. But
and on that note, you
can look forward to me making some trips to Lansing because I was telling y'all about my journey, and I definitely gotta revamp the whole.
Let's do it, bro.
Whole wardrobe this year. So, yes, sir. You can look forward to that. I look forward to it. Yes, sir.
All right.
Let's do it. I'll be honored,
next week, man.